Madam Sponsor, could you please identify the exact rule, resolution, order, or House authority that allowed the Committee on Justice to conduct impeachment hearing during the adjournment of session?
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, let us be reminded by the distinction between an impeachment process vis-a-vis the legislative process. The impeachment process is governed by Article 11 of the Constitution, whereas the legislative process is governed by Article 6 of the Constitution. Suffice it to state that there is entirely big difference between an impeachment process and a legislative process. As a matter of fact, Mr. Speaker, there is a different set of rules which govern the proceeding of impeachment. In the same manner that there is a different set of rules that govern our legislative process. Mr. Speaker, in other words, my distinguished colleagues, the impeachment process is not governed by breaks and recess. And to validate that, Mr. Speaker, the House of Representatives, before the break, before the start of the proceeding before the Justice Committee, even passed a resolution expressly authorizing the Justice Committee to proceed with its hearing, to exercise the compulsory process, and even to use the electronic mode of sending notices and documents. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, there is nothing under the rule which prohibits hearing of the Justice Committee during recess. It must be remembered, impeachment process is entirely different from the legislative process. I submit, Mr. Speaker.
So, Madam Sponsor, wala pong maipakita na dokumento ang distinguished sponsor authorizing the committee to conduct hearings during
Mr.
adjournment.
Speaker, if I may continue, it seems to this representation that the honorable gentleman is not listening. I have cited already that the House of Representatives passed a resolution.
Order, please. Silence.
That's why I'm asking for a resolution. Give me the copy.
May I request for a 30-second suspension?
Madam Sponsor,
Session
distinguished
suspended.
Mr. Speaker, and
Majority Leader, I'd like to remind people in the gallery, please observe strict silence. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, ganyan din po ang karanasan ko sa komite. Meron ding audience participation. May palakpakan, may hiyawan din po. Kaya hindi na po bago sa akin itong ginagawa ng mga hakot ng mga audience na ito.
Majority
Anyway,
Leader.
Mr. Distinguished
Representative Marcoleta, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, to address the request of the Honorable Marcoleta, may I request that the Secretary General be directed to provide the Honorable Marcoleta a copy of the relevant plenary resolution authorizing the conduct of hearings.
Secretary General, please provide necessary corresponding copies. Please proceed, gentlemen.
And if I may read Article 11, Section 3, Paragraph 2 of the Constitution. A verified complaint for impeachment may be filed by any member of the House of Representatives or by any citizen upon a resolution or endorsement by any member thereof, which shall be included in the order of business within 10 session days and referred to the proper committee within 3 session days thereafter. The committee, after hearing and by a majority vote of all its members, shall submit its report to the House within 60 session days from such referral together with the corresponding resolution. The resolution shall be calendared for consideration by the House within 10 session days from receipt thereof. Doon po sa paragraph na binasa ko, 4 na beses pong binanggit ang session days. Wala pong binanggit na pwedeng mag-hearing ang impeachment, Committee on Justice habang naka-adjourn ang both houses.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, for purposes of our records, I am reading from the House Resolution number 892, the title of which, Resolution Authorizing the House Committee on Justice to implement Section 8 of the Rules of Procedure in impeachment proceedings relating to the protection of complainants and witnesses, and further authorizing the committee to continue the conduct of impeachment proceedings and the exercise of ancillary powers during the recess of the House of Representatives from 21 March 2026 to 3 May 2026. It is respectfully submitted, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, that all the proceedings before the Justice Committee is within the ambit expressly provided by the House of Representatives in Resolution number 892.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, just to further assure the Honorable Marcoleta that everything was done in accordance with our rules and with due process, we did not adjourn sine die. We are still on our first regular session. That is why the plenary can authorize the committee to conduct their hearings if necessary. That's all, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker. Representative
Again-
Marcoleta, please
again,
wrap
I
up.
still
Your
don't have-
3 minutes is up.
I'm still not furnished a copy.
Please wrap up. Your 3 minutes is up.
Let me go to my next question. Madam Sponsor, when this case is elevated to the Senate,
Mr. Speaker,
is the House asking the Senate to try the verified complaints as filed or the broader record developed by the committee during the hearings?
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, based on our rules and based on the Constitution, it is not the impeachment complaint, but instead the articles of impeachment that was approved by the Justice Committee, which, upon approval of the House of Representatives, will be transmitted to the Senate. Consequently, Mr. Speaker, the basis of the trial is not the impeachment complaint, but the articles of impeachment.
Which brings me to the follow-up question. Madam Sponsor, can you confirm for the record whether every factual allegation in the articles of impeachment appears in the verified complaints or in their attachment, and not merely in testimony or documents later introduced during the committee hearings?
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, we confirm that the contents of the articles of impeachment are consistent to the contents of the impeachment complaints which were deliberated upon before the Justice Committee. We have to consider as well that under the rules, notwithstanding the fact that the evidence is not attached to the complaint, so long as it is relevant to the impeachment complaint, the same is allowed by the rules of impeachment.
Representative Marcoleta,
Alam
your
ko po
time
kasi-
is up. Your 3 minutes is up.
Evidence may support a pleaded charge, but should not become a substitute for a verified charge. And let me go to my
Your time is up.
final question,
Representative Marcoleta.
Mr.
Last
Speaker.
question. I'll allow you last question.
Madam Sponsor, did the committee ever formally require amendment of or authorize supplementation of the verified complaints to include factual matters that emerged only during the hearings?
Mr. Speaker, we are consistent to the contents of the impeachment complaint. And if the honorable gentleman is requiring the Justice Committee to make it as a parameter that they should all be expressed in the impeachment complaint, then he is not aligned to the rules of impeachment. The rules of impeachment expressly allow even other relevant evidence, which means, notwithstanding that they are not expressly mentioned in the impeachment complaint, so long as they are relevant, they can effectively form part of the articles of impeachment.
Majority Leader.
Thank you to the Honorable Marcoleta. Next on the list, Mr. Speaker, please recognize Representative Robert Nazal
Majority
for his
Leader.
Representative Robert Nasal
Can I
of
just make
Party List.
a closing statement?
BH is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, may I request the Honorable Marcoleta that he will have enough time for more manifestations, including his explanation of vote afterward.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you.
Speaker.
Representative Robert Nasal, Party List BH is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Madam Sponsor, I just have a few questions. Do you confirm that the supplemental affidavit of Ramil Madriaga was not attached to the original complaints?
We confirm that, Mr. Speaker. Nonetheless, considering that the contents of the supplemental affidavit is germane, relevant to the allegations in the impeachment complaint, and even including his original affidavit, the rules of impeachment expressly allow the Justice Committee to include the same in our consideration.
Thank you, Madam Sponsor. Do you also confirm that the SAL-ends of the Vice President were not attached to the original complaints?
We confirm that, Mr. Speaker, but like my explanation earlier, the rule expressly allows other related evidence that is sanctioned by Section 7, Paragraph 2 of the Rules of Impeachment, which says, the committee shall have the power to issue compulsory processes for the attendance of witnesses and the production of documents and other related evidence. It is the submission of this representation, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, that in the allegations of unexplained wealth, non-disclosure in the SAL-N, notwithstanding that they are not attached in the impeachment complaint, they are very much relevant to the allegations of the offense.
Thank you, Madam Sponsor. Do you also confirm that the AMLC reports were not attached to the original complaints?
We confirm that, Mr. Speaker, but similarly, the AMLAC report is germane, the AMLAC report is relevant, the AMLAC report is significant in as far as allegations of unexplained wealth and non-disclosure in the SAL-N is concerned. As a matter of fact, Mr. Speaker, during the proceeding before the Justice Committee, the contradictory, the disparity between the SAL-N vis-a-vis the AMLAC report was very well established.
Thank you, Madam Sponsor. Mr. Speaker, Madam Sponsor, may I ask if the respondent Vice President was furnished with a copy of this particular report that discussed the 2 billion glitch reported by BPI?
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, we understand that all the documents submitted to the committee were furnished not only to the parties, the complainant and the Vice President, but also the justice members and the members of the House of Representatives. Having said so, it is submitted that it is our humble submission that the same is included among the documents transmitted to the respondent Vice President.
So nabigyan po natin sila, Madam Sponsor.
Because the instruction, Mr. Speaker, is to transmit all documents which form part of the proceeding of the Justice Committee, then it follows that all documents presented, if they are presented before the Justice Committee, were transmitted as well to the respondent.
Mr. Speaker, I respectfully manifest that these questions are not meant to prejudge the impeachment case or obstruct the constitutional power of this House. Ang layunin lang po ay malinaw na mailagay sa record ang isang mahalagang due process concern. Dapat ang impeachment complaints ay sapat sa kanilang sariling allegations at supporting documents at the time of filing. Kung ang material evidence tulad ng AMLC reports, corrected bank data, witness affidavits, COA records, at authenticated videos ay nakuha lamang during the committee proceedings, kailangan malinaw kung ang complaints ba ay sapat na noong inihain o nabuo lamang ang kaso pagkatapos. For this reason, before the House votes, may we respectfully request that the record clearly show which evidence was attached at filing and which evidence was obtained later. Ito ay mahalaga hindi lamang para sa respondent, kundi para sa integridad ng House at ng impeachment process. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Madam Sponsor.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker,
Magandang hapon
Few
po
minutes.
sa aking kababayan, Madam Chair. Madam, is selective justice justice or injustice?
We are not abiding with selective injustice, inasmuch as we do not abide in selective accountability. And I have mentioned that in my sponsorship speech.
So selective justice is injustice, therefore if we hold some to account, we should hold all to account.
That is correct.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Would you support the House resuming the flood control investigations?
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, in our response to the mandate of transparency and accountability, we have to distinguish between an impeachable official and non-impeachable official.
I'm asking for your personal position on
For
this.
impeachable official, Mr. Speaker, we follow the rules of impeachment, both of the House of Representatives and of the Senate. For non-impeachable official, it will depend on the nature of investigation or case which the gentleman from the 1st District of Batangas wishes to initiate.
Let me reiterate the
Nevertheless,
question, Madam.
Mr. Speaker, there is proper forum, there is proper rules that apply to every remedy that is given to the Filipino people.
So may I ask again, Madam, would you support the House resuming the flood control investigations?
Mr. Speaker, may I be recognized?
Majority Leader.
While I understand the concern of the Honorable Leviste to pursue accountability in all matters involving Congress and the government itself, I request the gentleman from Batangas not to stray from our deliberations involving the resolution.
So the House does not want to make a statement today on whether it wishes to resume the flood control investigations.
Mr. Speaker, we will not make any statement outside our deliberations on the impeachment complaints.
Thank
May I
you, Mr.
remind
Chair.
Representative Leviste to
Thank you.
confine
I will move
your
to my next
interpellation and question to the resolution under consideration.
I will move to my next topic. Thank you. Do you support transparency in the use of public funds?
Definitely, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I heard that on March 18, some members of Congress got Easter break bonuses or additional MOOE of 2 million pesos or more, and those who do not support the impeachment did not get this extra MOOE. Do you know anything about this, Madam Chair, and how much MOOE have you gotten this year?
Mr. Speaker, I deny the allegation of the honorable gentleman from Batangas, but it is my observation as well that the statement is no longer relevant to the subject matter of this impeachment.
Madam
proceeding.
Chair, I just want to make this clear before the members of Congress cast their votes. Because there is, first of all, confirmed information that some members of Congress got 2 million pesos on March 18. But on the impeachment,
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Chair, just on the impeachment,
Just
Majority
on-
Leader.
on the
Mr.
impeachment,
Speaker, the Honorable Legarda Leviste
just on the
is
impeachment, Mr.
free
Chair.
to speak his mind after the voting, so long as
Mr.
we
Chair,
stay.
just on the impeachment, Senator Amy Marcos said those who vote for the impeachment will get 20 million pesos. And I just want to make it clear if this is true or not, because if it is true, then it should be made public. And if some are getting the 20 million and others are not getting the 20 million, then it should at least be fair that everyone who votes gets 20 million, and those who do not vote hopefully should also be given that, because this is taxpayers' money and should not be allocated on the basis of your vote on the impeachment.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of all the members of the House of Representatives, I categorically deny any statement made by
This
the
is what
Senator.
Senator Amy Marcos said.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. May I request the Honorable Leviste to proceed with his interpellation
Okay.
regarding the resolution and the articles of impeachment.
I have one last topic on this, which is, for the sake of the other members of Congress, is it true or not true that those who vote against the impeachment will lose benefits for their vote? So that before we cast our votes, we will know whether doing so will result in us losing our benefits or not.
Mr. Speaker, may I be recognized once more?
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the House, we categorically deny any such allegations, and we would like to thank the Honorable Legarda for his pursuit of accountability and
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
transparency.
I would like to
Honorable-
thank you for putting it on the
Honorable
record.
Legarda,
That Mr.
Your
Chair
time
actually
is up.
made a
I'll
very
give
good
you
thing.
one last question.
No one should lose their benefits for their vote today. And lastly, I would like to ask if the House Committee on Accounts and the DBM can release all data on the budgetary releases for MOOE or for infrastructure or any other budgets so that we can ascertain whether it is true or not what Senator Amy Marcos said. Speaker, tinawagan po ako ng nanay ko at sinabihan ako na huwag mang-away, kaya ang aking manifestation ngayong hapon ay para lang sabihin na huwag sanang parusahan ang 63 miyembro ng Kongreso na hindi bumoto para sa impeachment. Ito po ay para sa kapakanan ng mga constituents, mga distrito at sektor ng ating mga kasamahan. At sana, dahil malambot ang puso ng liderato ng Kongreso at ng gobyerno, huwag natin idamay ang mga nanay na nangangailangan ng pang-tuition sa kanilang mga anak, ang mga lola, ang mga lolo na nangangailangan ng medical assistance, ang mga magsasaka na nangangailangan ng mga farm-to-market roads dahil lamang sa boto ng kinatawan ng iilang mga distrito. Para sa aking mga kasamahan dito na hindi bumoto para sa impeachment, sana i-monitor natin na lahat ng mga naibigay sa budget na alokasyon para sa ating mga distrito ay darating at hindi ide-delay ang release dahil lamang sa ating mga boto. At para sa lahat ng mga nanonood na personally ay pabor sa impeachment, sana pwede nyo ding iparating sa liderato ng Kongreso at ng ating pamahalaan na kahit kayo ay pabor sa impeachment, hindi dapat idamay ang mga mamamayan sa boto ng bawat isa. Maraming salamat po.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize Representative Paulo Marcoleta of Sige Party List to explain his vote.
Honorable Paulo Henry Marcoleta, Party List Sagip, is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, esteemed colleagues. I vote no to the committee report recommending the impeachment of Vice President Sara Duterte. I will not vote in favor of a committee report that is a product of a flawed deliberative process. Let me be clear. This vote is not a vote against accountability. This is a vote for constitutional discipline. Impeachment is the gravest political remedy under our Constitution. It cannot rest on shortcuts, spectacle, or evidence gathered through a process that looks less like a constitutional proceeding and more like a fishing expedition. The vulnerability of this entire process is plain. The committee conducted hearings when both houses of Congress were not in session. That alone raises serious questions on authority, timing, and regularity. Then, instead of remaining with the verified complaints and their attachments, the committee gathered new evidence, expanded the theory of the case, and built allegations beyond what the respondent was originally required to answer. Hindi pwede na magsimula tayo sa isang complaint, tapos habang tumatakbo ang hearing, palalawakin natin ang kaso hanggang maging ibang kaso na ito. Due process is not a technicality. It is the constitutional shield of every Filipino, including those we dislike, those we oppose, and those we fear politically. I am especially troubled by the Anti-Money Laundering Council disclosures. Section 8-A of the amended Anti-Money Laundering Act protects the information received or processed by the Council. If confidential financial intelligence reached this committee through a legally defective route, then we are being asked to rely on fruits of a poisonous tree. Isa pa, kung matibay at malakas ang committee report na ito, bakit kailangan mangako di umano ng pabuya tulad ng pera, dagdag allowances, at release ng projects sa mga boboto ng yes, at mananakot na hindi i-release ang mga projects at baka kakasuhan daw ang mga boboto ng no. Sa lahat ng boboto ng yes, ito daw, reportedly, ang gantipalang kanilang matatanggap. 20 million cash incentives, 5 million additional MOOE, and 200 million additional projects. Kung totoo man ito, sa cash incentive pa lang at additional MOOE, at kung 200 plus ang bumoto ng yes, ay halos 6.3 billion pesos na ang gagastusin para lang iparating sa Senado ang articles of impeachment. At tahimik pa din ang Kamara sa trilyong pisong flood control scam. Tapos galit na galit tayo at nag-iingay pagdating naman sa 125 million at 600 million confidential funds ni VP Sara na wala namang direktang ebidensyang ibinulsa niya ito. Kung buhay lang si General Luna sa kanyang karakter sa pelikula, baka nasigawan kayo. Anong klaseng kahipokrituhan ito? This impeachment process is not really for accountability. Far from it. This is an elimination of a formidable political rival using a whole of government approach. Ginagamit ang buong puwersa ng gobyerno, gumugugol ng bilyong-bilyong piso ang pera ng taong bayan para gapitin, alisin sa pwesto ang taong takot na takot kayong maging presidente. Ano ba ang kinakatakot nyo? Ang laki siguro ng kasalanan ninyo sa mamamayang Pilipino. On the Vice President's outburst, of course, public officials should speak with care. But we must be equally careful not to convert political speech, even harsh, angry, or offensive speech, into an impeachable offense without proving intent, operational reality, and constitutional gravity. To end my speech, Mr. Speaker, hindi sapat ang sinabi ng Vice President Sara para mapawalang bisa ang pagkakuha niya ng pinakamalaking boto sa kasaysayan ng Pilipinas. Tatanggalin natin ang mandato mula sa 32,208,417 na sambay ng Pilipino na nagtiwala at patuloy na nagtitiwala kay Vice President Sara. For these reasons, Mr. Speaker, I vote no. Impeachment must be strong enough to survive the Senate, the courts, and our history. This one is not. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize Representative Robert Nazal of BH Party List to explain his vote.
Honorable Robert Nazal, BH Party List is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, good afternoon. I rise to explain my vote of no to the articles of impeachment. This is not a vote against accountability, nor is it a vote for any personality. This is a vote for the Constitution, for due process, and for the principle that impeachment must never become a political weapon. Impeachment is the gravest constitutional remedy against an elected official. Precisely because it is grave, it must be founded on credible evidence and a fair process. Hindi sapat ang duda, haka-haka o ingay lamang. The complaints must stand or fall on their own allegations and supporting documents. Yet, several affidavits, reports, and alleged findings presented during the hearings, including AMLC reports, alleged NBI findings, and even the COA decision itself, were not attached to the original complaints. Worse, it appears that even evidence was later obtained to cure deficiencies in the complaints. That is a dangerous precedent. Hindi pwedeng magsampa muna ng impeachment batay sa bare allegations, tapos saka pa lamang hahanap ng ebidensya pagkatapos. That is not due process. Tulad nga ng sinabi ni Congressman Marcoleta, that is a fishing expedition. On the confidential funds issue, even Attorney Gloria Camora of the Commission on Audit confirmed during the hearings that there were no findings of misuse under the COA decision being cited. She likewise confirmed that the release of the confidential funds passed through proper approvals, including the Office of the President and the DBM. More importantly, the COA decision is not yet final. A notice of disallowance is an audit action. It is not automatically corruption. It is not automatically theft. It is not automatically an impeachable offense. Dito nga sa sariling bakuran natin, liquidation by certification lang ang ginagawa natin. Pero sigurado ako na tayo ang unang magsasabi na hindi ibig sabihin na may corruption doon. On the AMLC reports, we must also be careful not to mischaracterize covered and suspicious transactions as automatic proof of wrongdoing. Suspicion is not proof, allegation is not conviction. In fact, even the AMLC information sharing report itself reportedly refers to a BPI letter explaining that a supposed 2 billion transaction was actually the result of a system error, and that the real amount involved was only around 2 million pesos. Yet, this annex was allegedly not included in the materials furnished to the members of the House. At the very least, it raises serious questions regarding the completeness, fairness, and integrity of the evidence being presented against the Vice President. The same principle applies to the alleged SALN issues. A discrepancy relating to a SALN does not automatically amount to an impeachable offense. Our laws allow amendments and corrections to SALNs when necessary. Kailangan pa rin ng malinaw at matibay na ebidensya ng sinadyang pagtatago o panlilinlang, which, to my mind, has not been sufficiently established in this case against the Vice President. On the alleged threats, the Vice President's designated survivor remark made in jest was clearly made in reference to the constitutional role of the Vice President to assume the presidency in case of death, resignation, removal, or incapacity of the President. The issue today is not whether one supports or opposes Vice President Sara Zimmerman Duterte. The deeper question is whether this House will defend the integrity of impeachment itself. Will we respect the line between the House initiation and Senate trial? Will we choose law over noise, evidence over accusation, and fairness over expediency? Let it not be said that at this crucial time in our democracy, this House lowered the constitutional standard because the politics of the hour demanded it. Huwag nating hayaang sabihin ng kasaysayan na ginamit natin ang pinakamabigat na kapangyarihan ng Kongreso hindi para sa katarungan, kundi para sa politika. History will judge this House not only by the vote we casted today, but by whether we had the courage to defend due process when it mattered most. Mr. Speaker, alam naman nating lahat na ang bawat boto natin dito ay may kaakibat na consequences. Maaring may political cost. Excuse me. Maaring may personal cost. Ngunit darating ang panahon na ang mas mahalaga ay kung nanaig ba ang prinsipyo, integridad at paninindigan sa tama. Sapagkat ito ang mga bagay na dapat nating ipamana sa susunod na henerasyon. Darating ang panahon na huhusgahan din tayo ng mga kabataan. Kung ipinaglaban ba natin ang tama kahit mahirap, sana pagdating ng araw, titingalain tayo ng bagong henerasyon. Hindi dahil sumabay tayo sa agos ng politika, kundi dahil pinili nating manindigan para sa konstitusyon, sa due process at sa tama.
Representative Nasal, please wrap up.
Almost done, sir. God sees everything we do as human beings. At sa huli, higit sa politika, higit sa ingay, higit sa anumang pressure, mananagot pa rin tayo sa mas mataas na pamantayan at ng katotohanan at konsensya. As Abraham Lincoln once said, "My concern is not whether God is on our side. My greatest concern is to be on God's side, for God is always right." For that reason, I vote no to procedural overreach. I vote no to incomplete and selective evidence. I vote no to political weaponization of the impeachment process. At higit sa lahat, for the Constitution, for due process, and for the integrity of this House, I vote no to the adoption of Committee Report number 261 and the articles of impeachment.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move.
May na-aresto actually kagabi. Diba? I think na-report nyo na lahat. So I just promise John Vic that I'll wait for his report and that siya magsasabi sa details para nga walang misfire, miscommunication o accusation. But since someone close to me sent me a text Uh, Kasi meron nag-send sa akin ito. PNP confirms Browner's statement that 30 shots were fired. All of them came from the Senate from Cayetano security guard. So first of all, I don't have a security guard. If they're talking about the blue guard, wala akong kasamang security guard. If they talking about my security, they're also from the PNP. I double-checked before going here. Walang nagpaputok sa kanila. Okay? So anyway, to make a long story short, ito po ang text ni Sen. John Vic. The count was 27 from inside the Senate and 5 from the other side. No? So my point is, nag-verbal warning sila. Tigil nyo yan, whatever the words were used.
Sino, sir?
Sorry, yung OSAA, nag-verbal warning. Hindi tumigil yung kabilang side from trying to get into the Senate. So nagpaputok sila in the air. Ang problema, nagpaputok pabalik. So eto, whoever the perpetrators was, di ba? Kasi nga, last night, bago umalis si Sec. Remulla, sabi niya, so far they saw 1 bullet. So syempre, nakita ko yung mukha ng USAA, that's not possible. So someone showed me the video and man nga told me may live nga, di ba? So sinabi ko lang na, Sec, can you allow the OSAA to go inside the kabilang building para may sarili namin investigation? I haven't really had time to look at all the details pa, and I promised si Sec. So the count was 27 from outside, from inside, no?
27 from inside. 27 from OSAA? 27 from OSAA, sir?
Yes, na
Up.
count nung putok.
From OSAA?
Yes.
5 from the kalaban?
Yes. Kasi ang warning shot, itutuloy-tuloy mo yon until nga, kaya mo wina-warning, ayaw mo magkabarilan di ba? So, kailangan umalis.
Okay.
But instead na umalis, nagputok pabalik. So, I won't defend or say much more, yun lang. But eto, kararating lang sa akin yung text ni Sec. Remulla. NBI had no warrant to serve. They were requested by GM Wick to secure the Senate building at 5 p.m. They arrived at 6:15, 21 arrived. They were deployed on each floor to secure GSIS. Agent Francisco sitting down on the second floor bridgeway with a white guard when his attention was called by OSAA Aplaska. Sino ka? Sabi Aplaska. Francisco stood up with AR-15 at the sideways sling. Aplaska fired a warning shot. Francisco pulled the trigger. As well pointed, OSAA eventually discharged 27 rounds of 9mm and 40 SW. Francisco discharged 5 rounds. He immediately fled the scene.
Sir, can
So,
you get that? Sir, pwede kami humingi ng copy.
read out para ano, okay. So, yun lang muna so far kasi yun palang binigay niya sa akin. But let me emphasize this, ha. NBI continually told us na wala silang dinideploy sa Senate. Completely. I think pati sa higher-ups nila, yun ang sinabi nila. I haven't had the time to watch the news or to compare who said what, no? So kayo na ang mag-compare who is saying what, di ba? But time after time, in fact, Senator Loren got a text when we were having the caucus na sabi ni NBI Director, hindi daw niya sinabi na pinayagan sila ni Senator Soto. All the senators na kasama ko doon, napakarami, all said he did not only say it once, he said it 3 times. So, we can get to the truth if people tell the truth. Diba? But if the NBI is not going to be, it's not going to treat this thing with candor, meaning just tell us the truth, may problema tayo. But I can tell you, I have faith in the PNP and the DILG. They gave me their word. No? And for some, their word is not important, but I do believe kay General Nartates, Chief PNP, and kay Sec. Remulla, nung sinabi nilang lalabas ang totoo dito, I believe in the word that they've given. No? Let me have a drink of water, tapos question.
Sir, to be sure lang, the 27 came from OSA. Sir, sorry nakita ko po kasi sir, na ang nagpaputok po kahapon, OSAA and yung armed na Marines. Kasama na po sa bilang yung 27, yung lahat na nagpaputok coming from the Senate force?
I don't want to speculate kasi I just read to you yung sinabi sa akin. But kasi may nakita din ako na report or something sa Facebook. I haven't verified na the Marines were here to support but did not fire. So I'll wait for the report naman ng OSAA after meeting you. Ayoko, kasi OSAA naman is under my jurisdiction, so I'll have them explain what they found so far.
So right now, sir, the 27 we can say are from OSAA lang.
Yun ang report ni Sec. Janvic.
Okay. The 5 came from the Kalaban?
Yes.
Pataas, sir, or towards OSAA?
Yun ang hindi ko masagot.
Okay.
May isang bullet daw, may isang bullet daw sa taas.
And then the rest? Or?
Kasi nga last night nung naghiwalay kami, so far daw isa pa lang, Tapos eto kasi sinabi ko kay Sec Remulla, I'll make sure na yung commitment ko not to influence or walang political angle yung aking explanation ng investigation. But he sent me that text na so far yun yung report niya. So I'll send it na to you paano mo na lang.
Sir, wala kang sinabi si General Plaska kung nasaan yung NBI, kung nasa GSIS side o nandito sa Senate?
Because nga meron ongoing investigation, I don't wanna speak details for details, but I'll just tell you what he told me last night nung kaharap din niya yung police, na nakita nila na nakalagay doon yung letra and everything, and winorningan nila. But, if I tell you more details than that, pati people will already think or speculate. So I'd rather tapusin nila. Ang sabi sa akin ni Sec. Janvic, bina-backtrace nila. They got a lot of IDs. Sa the guy na bumalik, pinabalik daw siya para kunin yung bag. Puno ng maraming IDs sa bag. So they got his fingerprints, bina-backtrace niya. When I left, they were bringing him to Pasay for inquest. So I haven't gotten the report. Unfortunately, pinauwi namin lahat ng lawyers kasi nung sinabing clear na, nakiusap din yung mga police so that their work is easier, paalisin na. But can I just mention this, guys, di ba? Unprecedented nung Monday na meron law enforcers na makikipaghabulan sa isang senador. Unprecedented yan. That never happened in the Philippines. Secondly, taking away coup d'etats, di ba? First time then, in my view, na may ganun armed attack. And hindi sila tumakbo, They were somehow holding their ground. All of you were here, di ba? So there's a speculation na gobyerno yan, there's speculation, may nagsasabi, kami daw ni Bato nagplano, or kanina tinanong nyo, legitimate question yung tanong nyo, diversionary. If it was a diversionary tactic, it was crazy. Why? When you did that, lalong dumami yung tao dito lalong dumami yung police. That's why nga Sec. Janvic wanted to go upstairs to make sure he's okay. But nung kausap ko yung anak, his tired, etc., I respected that. Sec. Janvic respected that. But kagabi, bumaba pa si Senator Bato. Bumaba pa siya para magpakita That was the last time I saw him. Go ahead.
Pero SP doon, sa binasa niyo po, inamin po ng asawa ni Senator Bato na he used that commotion, ano yung nangyari, para makalabas ng pera.
I will not interpret because sabi niya baka. Because he did not escape during, after. But ang sabi din kasi nung asawa niya, after niya nakita na someone will go so far as lusubing a Senate just to get him, that's why he did it. Kasi kung if I was in his shoes, I will escape when it's least expected. But again, mali yung word na escape because there's no warrant Diba? There's no warrant. So, he's free to go. When you, for example, pumunta ka sa simbahan at sabihin mo, I'm seeking sanctuary. Pag gusto mo nang umalis, pwede kang umalis. It happened kay June Lozada. He slept on my couch on the 5th floor, and then nung sinabi, doon na lang siya sa mga madre, and then sinabi, doon na lang siya sa Lasal Green Hills, lumipat siya doon.
SP, kung walang warrant, bakit siya nagtago dito sa Senate? Bakit
Because hinabol siya ng mga NBI na walang warrant. So, I'm not saying as a fact walang warrant. Excuse me. I'm saying they did not present the warrant to us. And I'm waiting for it. They did not give us. If they gave me the warrant, my advice could have been different. So same. Kayo nag-seek sanctuary dito. Sabi niyo, sir, media kami, inaaresto kami, wala namang warrant. I talked to the police. Ba't niyo hinahabol? Wala, sir. Or may warrant. Nasaan ang warrant? Wala. Sabihin ko, dito muna kayo sa Senate. 3 days later, wala pa rin yung warrant. Sabihin mo, boss, gusto ko nang umuwi. Umuwi ka na. Diba? So that's the reality. Is it the best? I want him to attend each and every session. I want him to be there. I told him last night, Sen Bato, sana you can attend the impeachment. It's his constitutional duty. Last follow-up then.
SP, do you still consider it as an attack when you mentioned kahit marami na rin kami na una pong nagpaputok ng warning shot yung OSAA, hindi yung sa kabilang.
Okay. Kung tututukan kita ng baril, papasukin ko bahay mo na may baril ako. Nag-warning shot ka, pinutukan kita pabalik. Is it not an attack? Sorry but I don't think there's any question. The Senate is under attack. Was under attack. All of you, your lives were in danger last night. So, I know it's your job to ask a question, but you will tell me, pagka may nagpaputok na warning, hindi under attack yon? My God. We're a democracy. This is the Senate of the Philippines. Please naman. Di ba? Yeah. What do you think happens when there's no democracy? Who's the first casualty? The media. Wala nang media kapag wala. Di ba? Pag sinabing kami muna nagpaputok, umatras sila, or security guard ng GSIS yun, di sabihin nyo, baka ito ay gawa-gawa lang, baka ito ay drama. Pero nagko-focus kami dito, hinihintay namin articles of impeachment, nakita nyo naman lahat ng pangyayari. Napakagaling ko naman mag-orchestrate ng lahat na yan. Kaya kong papuntahin dito mga armadong grupo. You know my history. I've been in government since 1992. Do you have any history of doing that? O sa Taguig, have we done anything like that ever? No, so, excuse me, I mean, I'm not taking offense at the question, but, you know, if you have any doubt, you're doubting our democracy, you're not doubting my statements.
Ko lang, sir. Yung kalaban po ba, pwede na natin sabihin na, sir, sinabi kasi ni Senate Sec Dong Mendoza right after the shots were fired last night, na perceived NBI. Are you ready to say that na perceived NBI yung kalaban?
Nasabi naman ni Sec Dong yon, at sabi ko sa kanya, I don't blame you for giving them the information on the ground. And mayan, you ask the right questions, tama yung direction nyo, etc. But I'll be very fair. When the President called to check how we are, and when the President said, it's not government, it's not the AFP, it's not the PNP, it's not the NBI, of course, he's the President. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll assume. But I told him, but Mr. President, we have a bad experience sa NBI. They haven't been truthful with us. Having said that, Sec John Vic assured me, walang whitewash to. So he told me some of the information even before we got home kasi I'm sorry for the reaction but you know, people risked their lives yesterday. One of our nagugulpi na yung isang the others could have done this. What I want to prevent is that, you know, there are certain things in life na may red line yan. Di ba? Di ba yung you don't, you know, you respect your parents, unahin mo yung mga tatanda, di ba? Pero kung yun ay mga normal na kabastusan, di ba? But you don't attack Malacanang. You can march, you can protest. You don't burn down the Supreme Court, and you don't attack the Senate in an armed manner. Di ba? It was 100% an attack. If it turns out sa investigation na sira ulo lang yon, na he lost his mind, then a question ko, how did he get the IDs? How did he get in? How did he get? If it was government, then I'm sure the President will act upon it, di ba? So I don't know right now, and I don't want to give details, but yung binasa ko sa iyo, galing na kay Sec John Vic yun. So, at sinabi niya, NBI yun.
Sir, sinabi ni Sir John Vic?
Yeah,
NBI?
so,